between the agenda of black leadership and this president who is African American?
The disconnect is the fact that this administration realizes that each community has an issue, a certain problem that they need to deal with. But the disconnect is the universality. And earlier this year, the State of Black America came out, 2009.
National Urban League Report.
The National Urban League Report. And within this report, Roland, Mark Morial said there's a state of two Americas, two black Americas. One of pride for Barack Obama being the president, for the elevation of a black man to be the first black president. But at the same time, you have a situation where the economy for blacks is a bad situation. We are we have double the numbers of unemployment rates in the black community. We have issues of education. Fewer than 50% of African Americans graduate. We have healthcare issues, disproportionate numbers of African Americans getting diseases like diabetes.
These are the things that I've been reporting on that are currently still in existence. Roland knows what I'm talking about. He knows what I'm calling out. Things have not changed. But I wanted to show you just how Roland used to be. They used to have these conversations on his platform. Look at April Ryan, looking at Roland. Why aren't they talking like this now? You know, Roland went around and became a surrogate for Obama right after this. I wonder why.
Diabetes, heart disease, things like that. So there is still an issue within this administration to tackle everything universally, with a universal approach versus dealing with specific remedies for each problem.
Deb, I want to deal with that because clearly if you are Jewish in this country, if you're Hispanic, if you're a woman, all the different interest groups have their own agendas as they go to the White House. But it seems that when this president has to deal with a black agenda, all of a sudden there's a dance that has to go on. Agree or disagree?
Agree. There's a
Fam, listen to this. Man, whoever put this up on X, man, definitely shout yourself out. Because this was an amazing clip. I hadn't seen this. This contradicts everything that Roland pretends not to understand. He keeps pretending not to get it, and he keeps telling people that we are full of shit talking about our black agendas. Here he is with a panel talking about what? A black agenda under Obama. But some reason he got his act right, didn't he? He understands everything Tim Black is saying. Let's see his response to this black woman on the panel that says, yeah, it seems like every time we talk about black agenda, Obama wants to change the subject, just like Raphael Warnock.
Dance, and there's a dance that's going on. It's not clear who's leading, which is a thing, which is fortunate why the Black Leadership Forum stepped out recently and said, we're united, we're together, 100 Black Men, National Urban League, NAACP, National Council of Negro Women, all these organizations have united now to determine where they want Black America to move, and President Obama better be in sync because they're going to lead the dance.
It was weird, Stephen, because during this whole year, the first presidency was interesting. It seems that black leadership didn't know when to say something, what to do. It was all over the place.
The interesting part about it is that they didn't want to say anything because you got some people within our within our community, they wanted to be the leaders. It's hard passing that baton. It's hard moving aside and making room for new blood to come into play. This man is going to be the president of the United States. Well, where would that leave us? These are the questions that people within the African American community were asking themselves as it pertains to some of our black leadership. At the end of August, you had black unemployment rate at 15.1%. White folks, it was about at 8.7%. You know what? When you take that into account and consider the fact that African Americans only make up 12.5% of the population and 1 in every 6 is unemployed, these are extremely big time problems. So you're wondering, okay, what is our president going to do? And that you have some people within the black community that'll look at a Jesse or an Al Sharpton and the leadership before, and they'd say, well, you know what? Maybe we should do things that way. But the reality is this man didn't become president of the United States by doing things their way. He came about it an entirely different way, and it worked effectively.
Joe, you used to sit on the board of the NAACP. Earlier we talked to his new president, Ben Jealous, and he said, because of the things April cited earlier, and Stephen, this is even more of a reason for a black agenda. because of where the condition of Black America today, even with a Black president. And so how do we begin to advance that agenda, knowing full well the dance that's going on? Because folks are saying, well, give the brother a chance. He really can't do stuff for African Americans. How does that actually happen?
Well, I think you said it earlier. You don't wait for an invitation.
Even from this president?
Oh, especially from any president. Whether it's this president, he's a politician. He has to do things to get reelected. People in the civil rights movement and the social movement, they don't have to wait to get reelected. They've got to have the kind of tenacity that a Frederick Douglass had. I don't look at politicians as leaders. Politicians tend to react. So number one, you don't wait for an invitation. Number two, I think the one of the big problems we also have is in our business. The media can tend to focus only on one Negro at a time. And that was Jesse Jackson Sr. who told me that. Mm-hmm. And you know what? He's absolutely right. It's everything that Barack Obama says as if he's speaking not just for the government, but he's speaking now for everyone. There's no reason, and everything that we've talked about, everything April talked about, everything that's in the Urban League report, there are African American leaders out here every day hitting the stumps talking about it, but they do not get the media attention that they used to get, because now you have an African American who leads the news every single night.
But can we, in terms of Black journalists, in terms of Black media specifically, begin to also confront the issue, and that is when you have a disagreement with this president on policy, you should be standing up for policy and not saying,
First of all, let me say thank you for asking that question, because I have to be honest with you. One of the things that is absolutely disgusting about the African American community is that we tend to operate, so many of us tend to operate off of emotion when the facts are there to be attacked. The reality is that if you sit there and you look at the facts and you look at the unemployment rate and you look at how it is affecting your bottom line, then guess what? Don't let somebody come at you with emotion and try to manipulate your opinions and your feelings based on that.
From the Bill Cosby moment when he stood up in front of the NAACP community, we've overcome from that, and that's great. I had no problem with that. I remember.
See, I'm glad you all can say all of this. I'm sitting there in the White House in the briefing room daily, and you have a very strange situation. You're questioning a president. You are that first line between the president and the American public. And then when you have people call you, African American people call you, why did you ask the president that? We have to forget the sensitivities of the fact that this is an African American president and still deal with holding a president accountable, just like we did with Bill Clinton, just like we did with George W. Bush. The issues are still the same, yet there's a Black man in the office who indeed sees the issue of race, and the White House has said, many White House officials have said, they are fearful of dealing with the race issue because they don't want to amplify it.
Fearful of dealing with that issue, holding a Black president accountable. Hold tight. I want to pick up that point when we come back. Folks, we'll be back in a moment with more of our...
Full of shit.
Now, the reason why I had to give this a full of shit on a BS detector is because Roland's full of shit. Rest in peace, the Black Eagle. They all know exactly what we're talking about when we talk about Black agendas. They're very much aware of the issues that we're bringing up. In fact, we are saying the same things they were saying. Isn't that crazy? I had never seen this before. And you could. This is perfect for where we are right now. Just make the president Trump and make the president Joe Biden or whatever. It's the same thing. But it just seems like all of them got their heads right, as far as maybe except for Stephen A. Smith. Roland's got his head right in not being questioning and not questioning, not go against the grain with the Democratic Party. So that's why I said he was full of shit, because he knows where we're coming from. He knows it's valid to question the Democratic Party. He saw them up close. Protect Obama from Black voters. He's seen it. He knows it. But he won't tell the truth because it must adversely impact his bottom line. It hurts his pockets. What else could it be? We're going to keep it really simple. Now, this is the part this is the problem part. I started tonight's broadcast talking about a viewer who jumped all over me because it says, I criticize black people too much. That's exactly what those people on the panel were saying. April Ryan was saying it. She can't question Obama. She's there to report at the White House. But when she questions Obama, she has black folks jumping on her back. How dare you question Obama? Stephen A. was saying the same thing. You can't even point out the unemployment rates. You can't point out the lack of home ownership rate in the black community. Because when you critical and it impacts the black president, now people are calling you a sellout for pointing out the problems. They want you to let black people suffer in silence to protect one black person. Folks, this is a humongous problem. I don't know what to tell you exactly about it. I don't. I just think we have to deal with the fact that we're going to have people that just don't get it. And we got to ignore them and do our jobs anyway. Because if we allow ourselves to be talked down, to be stopped, to be truncated, to be handcuffed by those people among us who don't get it, then we're the fools. The poverty rate, the maternal mortality rate, the child poverty rate, the homeless rate, the unemployment rate. These are all issues we got to keep voicing. It doesn't matter if the Democratic Party wants you to be quiet about it. Doesn't matter if there are some old black folks that won't let the ghosts go, that keeps fixating on black politicians but don't love black people. They love black politicians as black celebrities, but they don't love black people. Because if they did, they'd be standing with us criticizing the system. Instead of criticizing the system, they criticize us. I believe what Joe Madison said was right. It's part of my thesis. See, I believe Democratic Party politicians or Republican Party politicians all have one thing in common. They are politicians, and they want to get elected. And it's hard to get elected when you have people blowing up the spot, shitting on you, calling you out, protesting you, tracking you all across social media. They do not want that. They do not want the pressure. We have to make them do what we want them to do. Not by violence, but by force, by sheer number, by pushback. They're watching all of that, you know. We have the ability to use our voices, our platforms to influence public policy. And don't tell me it's not effective. Now we got all these politicians up here adopting our slang, adopting our language, bullying the business. All in our business try to adopt what we do. We know why they're doing it, because we are the culture. They're doing it because we are loud. They're doing it because it's in their best interest to do it. They say, Tim, what's the solution? What's the fix? I just gave it to you. It requires work. Everybody wants the revolution without the revolution part. Everybody wants the change without the work part. They just want you to sprinkle on some magic dust and make things change. And that's not how anything happens. There's an old story. A. Philip Randolph, the black leader that organized the Pullman Porters. He went to FDR with demands. And FDR said, hey, I agree with you. Now go out there and make me do it. Now, I'm not sure if FDR said it exactly that way. And some people say that Obama referenced it and he may have said it as well, or maybe he was just repeating FDR. We don't know. But the concept holds true. You don't sit around waiting for politicians to see things your way. You make them do it. You provide the pressure necessary to create the environment that makes them do it, that makes them get done what you want them to get done. And begging and kissing ass are not the ways to get it done. And that's why I'm building the Wolfpack Brain Trust. Because we're going to make those politicians do it. Because that's how we get it done. End of press conference.